morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It feels like it's been so long, right? But it's not as long as it seems. I tried to, no, what's today? First of all, today's Tuesday, July 1st, okay? July 1st, Tuesday, July 1st. So, here we are. Summer's flying by, which is good because it's hot. It's too hot for a queen. I keep telling y'all that. That's why you're going to find me in the house. And I guess if I do go outside, it's going to have to be with an overcast. Even though it'll still be hot, but it still needs to be an overcast. Because I don't have time for the sun to be beating down on me. If I'm not at a beach or a pool, the sun can kick rocks. But anyway, good morning. I hope you guys slept well. I did. I feel like I'll be shocked every morning when the alarm goes up. I can't believe it's time to get up. So yesterday, I had put a notice up saying that I was going to go on TikTok Live, which I did. I did go on TikTok Live. But right now, I can't seem to figure out how to get the live on my page. It's like I could go into my TikTok profile and find the live, but it's not posted on my page. And I'm not a TikTok user. I have it, but I don't really use it. I gotta put this PC on. Perry, Perry. But so I decided to come back here to this morning instead of TikTok because I don't know. It just feels like what the hell, as they say. So until I learn a couple of more things about TikTok, which I'm sure is extremely easy, but it's time. But yeah, I'm on my way to work. Today we got a short week. Thank goodness. All my weeks are short anyway, though. But yeah. So I don't know if y'all got a chance to go on TikTok while I was live, because again, I don't have anywhere to do the replay, and if I do, I don't know how to make that happen. And if I can't, then that's gonna push me back to. That's gonna make me figure something else out. And so I probably just have to use TikTok not for lives, but for just regular TikTok use. So anyway, good morning. So I just came back up here because I wanted to make sure it still happened. Being on TikTok was okay, But anyway, I still might get up there anyway. Make this short and get up there just to see what I can see. Have more than one little piece of item as far as a live up there, so I can see how to mess around and everything. So anyway, so the big beautiful bill is supposed to pass this week. The deadline is supposed to be Friday. We will see, but I will tell you this. Elon Musk called the bill, not the bill, he called the Republican Party. He called the Republican Party the Porky Pig Party. He says the bill is filled with pork. And the point is, like I said before, Elon is mad because they took out the $7,500 tax credit that you're supposed to be able to get if you buy electric cars. If you buy an electric car. So that's out the bill. He's been pissed off since then. He has promised that if this passes through, he's going to ensure that everybody right now in the Congress will lose their job coming up for the primaries. He said he guaranteed it. The same way I guarantee this non-election, y'all. I said, oh, once again admitting to the crime, and everybody's just standing around acting like that didn't just get said. It's trippy because it makes me feel like, I mean, ugh, I don't want to break the law, but, you know, I can find one or two that I don't have to listen to. But, yeah, so he called it the Porky Pig. I was crying. I said, oh, he's still mad. Oh, he's still mad. He sent quite a few tweets out. So I was just laughing at that. But my point about that bill is, like I've been saying, save money. Save money. Because once this fiscal year starts, once that money do come down, whatever money they do got, once some of it come down, and the other part of it don't come down, like I said, something that affects one person could easily affect somebody else if you're depending on someone or anything like that to make any part of your life happen. The things that happen in their life could immediately affect you. So that's something to think about and consider. But you know, who knows? Maybe the whole world will be, bombed before any of this takes place. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, because I think a lot of people, even right now, are assuming. You know how? Okay, so we know what we did with Iran, and I think even me the other day. 10 minutes later, I was thinking about something else, and I had to realize, oh snap, like we might die in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? What is my point? My point is Iran is down somewhere scheming. They scheming, and we will be taken by surprise. We will be taken by surprise. Whatever is going to happen, whenever. And that's what I think people are underestimating, this idea that if we haven't done it in 10 minutes, and it's not going to be done. Oh, I don't know, but it is what it is. But speaking of Elon, that group of Africans that they brought over as refugees, one of them has murdered their wife. One of those men took her out. I'm not saying it's all men. I'm saying it's always a man. I'm saying it don't matter if he's in the United States, born and raised in South Africa, white, black. It's just like, it's giving apex predator regardless of race, religion, creed, nationality, ethnicity. It's giving apex predator. That's crazy. You came all the way over here to kill her? You were supposed to kill her over there and then come over here for asylum. Geez. Talk about backward steps. But anyway, yeah, so that's what they over here doing. Murdering, slicing and dicing. Okay? It's a shame. It's a shame. I know yesterday I don't know if y'all got a chance to hear me talk about it on TikTok, but I did say congratulations to that track person, Robinson, and the way that nature just helped him win that race. But now they gonna ban them shorts. They gotta move the goalposts. They gonna ban them shorts, but it don't matter. It don't matter. If his manhood wants to be free, it's gonna free itself. So it doesn't matter. But definitely, when I saw that thing and they slowed it down, I was definitely like, let me replay that again. I was like, damn. But yeah, so something I mentioned the other day on Facebook, which is the Nas and Jim Jones debacle. I had pointed out, I asked the question, like, what would be the reason? Rain? No. Okay. All right. I asked the question, what would be the reason that everybody is checking Jim. Now, when I first seen it, when it was all first happening some days ago, right off the gate, I said, this is the second, when Jim Jones got in the seats with Fat Joe and Jadakiss, when he sat down with them, right off the gate, I said to myself, this is what I'm talking about right here. Why the hell is neither Joe or Kiss saying anything? That's what I got a problem with. And so when you talk about, when you bring this topic up, as far as the Jim Jones thing, it's an excellent example of how the protection that you need will have to come from within. It will have to come from a piece of steel. You see what I'm saying? Whether you slicing and dicing or popping caps, it doesn't matter. The protection that you need has to come from you, because these men could sit amongst each other, tell each other a bold-faced lie, and no one's going to say, hold up, Jimmy, come on. I mean, and then, of course, the internet explodes. Everybody gets up there and says all type of stuff. While everything is true and we all know there's no comparison, why didn't Joe or Kiss say anything? And to me, I didn't see either one of them try. They didn't try. That's not what I saw. I didn't see no trying, because you can't try to tell a nigga to his face anything. You don't have to try to tell nobody the facts. You just tell them. Like, come on, sir. You know what I'm saying? The fact that Nas wrote Second Childhood like 20-something years ago, come on. I mean, he brought up the cornrows and everything. I was like, damn. Like, was this tailor-made? Like, But anyway, the point is, the way Jadakiss and Fat Joe ain't saying nothing, it's like, this is what I'm talking about right here. I would never expect them to say anything or do anything for any reason. You won't even have a regular debate about the truth, about the facts. And this is why I always say, it's always going to be fact over opinion. I'm not arguing with anybody about the facts. The facts are what they are, and I'm not going back and forth with anybody about them. Now, me saying that doesn't come without the facts being pointed out. Not just knowing them in your head and being like, oh, this person no, this person no. No. We know they know. And we need to say out loud what we all know they know, what we all know he knows. They needed to do that. The only person that took him on was Shannon Sharpe. And as soon as Shannon Sharpe started saying, you don't hold the candle to Nas, he was like, look at your shirt. What? Look at your shirt. Look at your shirt. Like, come on, dude. And so, it was extremely disappointing for Joe and Kiss to not say anything. To watch them not say anything. Then he goes on another show with a whole bunch of these other men who know better, who know they not choosing him over Nas, and they still won't say it. And so what am I saying here? What is my point? My point is, this is another example of Jim Jones showing that he's the alpha male in all those situations, except the Shannon Sharpe situation. Except the Shannon Sharpe situation. It didn't take an argument. The fact is, nobody wanted smoke. Nobody wanted smoke in the moment that it was happening. Nobody wanted smoke except Shannon Sharpe. And that's what makes Jim the alpha. Because a lot of people misunderstand what an alpha is. And an alpha is able to check other people, other males. An alpha male checks other males. They got shit under control. They are able to get shit under control, or they're willing to get shit under control. Nobody wanted to be like, okay, let me control the narrative. He sat there and made it a point to control the narrative, even though the narrative was not true. He sat there and made it a point to try to control the narrative, and nobody said anything. The only person that tried, if that's what we're going to say, is Shannon Sharpe. And as we saw, when Shannon Sharpe was going at him and saying what the truth of was, it turned into him having on a crazy shirt, and you don't listen to rap. I don't have to listen to rap to know exactly what I'm saying, to know who's the better rapper. Here's the thing. Jim Jones making it seem like, listen, once again, the old typical, bigging yourself up, saying that you're the best, blah, blah, blah. Of course you're the best. That's fine. You are. You know what I'm saying? You are. As long as you believe that, that's the truth. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with saying that. But then you're going to actually allow yourself to participate in calling out a name on a person who you've already sweated and who's already your big homie. Whether you want to call him that or not, that's the fact. That's the fact. And so, it's just shameful. It's just shameful. Even an example of this is shameful because it's like you're willing to sit there and pretend something is being said in front of you something is not being said in front of you that's being said, and you're not saying it, and you don't want the smoke. And so why do you have a platform on here asking a question like this, Joe, and then you're not going to be the one to be like, what? You see what I'm saying? You're not going to be the one to point out that hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Like, you ain't got to diss him to make the point. You know what I mean? You don't have to try to diss Jim to make the point about Nas, but you should not be letting Jim sit there and say what he's saying about Nas. More influential? How? How? Because you got the YNs wanting to shoot everybody and kick in doors? Is that the influence you're going for? Because the influence Nas has is going to last a lifetime, especially with what he's doing right now. It's about to open the casino. Well, the casino's already open. Resorts is already open, but they're expanding resorts. You know what I mean? So that's legacy building right there. That's legacy building right there. Resorts Casino in Queens. What's it? A $5 billion project. Influence? What you talking about, Jim? You influencing who? Because the people y'all talk. Because again, y'all are talking on two different levels. Two different levels when it comes to everything. Who you're influencing, who's listening, and who's not. Jim don't know how much of a creep he is, and if he does know, and he's willing to carry on like this, it's disgusting. You see what I'm saying? It's pretty gross. Cause it's like, why are you, should I come over this way? I'm about to back in like a bit of a driver. Alright. But yeah, Jim, please. Okay? Now, I'm not gonna lie. I do like his album On My Way to Church. I like a lot of music from that year. The 2004-2005 year, because I was definitely on lockdown down to the Iraq, and so I had a lot of time to listen to a lot of music. And so On My Way to Church is a solid album by Jim, and it doesn't mean his other albums aren't solid. It just means you don't have anything that Nas has as far as albums motivating the people, motivating the kids. I'm not saying Jim don't have stories to tell. He does, but nigga, please. Okay. And that's really the bottom line here. That's the bottom line. But it's disappointing to watch all these men not check him and say, hold up, like, let's put the stats up right now. You know what I'm saying? And have somebody pull the clip. Pull it. Let's pull the comparison right now. But it just seemed like they were allowing his personality and his aggression to take over, and it seemed like you ain't want to smoke, you ain't want to argue. But it's like you got a platform up here where you're asking a question, and you're asking a question to a person who we know has aggression, who we know answers questions like this. And so you're supposed to be prepared to answer them the way that you would answer the questions. You know what I mean? And so it's just annoying. It's annoying, but it points out how there's not going to be any protection for women or men by men. and so don't worry about trying to get any. And that's my point. Self-protection, just like validation, is the only protection and validation. You know what I mean? If we're lucky, we'll have other people who will validate us without us having to ask, or protect us without us having to ask, or even if you do ask. But when something comes up randomly and you're talking about it, listening to it, and then commenting on it, participating and engaging when you're doing that, it's important to be truthful and honest. You know, and if you feel like smoke is happening and you don't want to be a part of it, at a minimum, they could have at least said that. They could have said something to allude to the fact that they know the truth, but they not going to get into it. Jim should have heard some level of the truth from both of them. Period. 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 Somebody should have pulled up the stats at a minimum and just been like, okay, so now we could discuss this or, you know, whatever. That's what I believe should have happened. But, whatever. You see what I'm saying? But one other thing I wanted to touch on before I go is how Bezos just married a 55-year-old woman that has 3 kids that are not his. What is the point? What is my point? The point is there is no such thing as a washed up nothing. Okay? Hey, honey. There's no such thing as a washed up baby mother. There is no such thing as a leftover woman. There's no such thing. Clearly. Because right now, all the baby mothers in the industry is out here with a man, having a good old time while they children is somewhere else, either with the father or somewhere else. What am I saying? What is my point? Ladies, let your experience be your guide. Let your experience be your guide. Let the experience of others be your guide. You don't have to experience everything yourself on its own to know the truth about it. There is no such thing as a woman with 3 kids that nobody wants. As long as men and women exist, there will always be an opportunity to have a man. The question is, do you want him? Is he worth having? That's the point that's always on the table. Getting him is not the point. Him being worth keeping around will always be the point. And where people fail and they drop off on the conversation is never pointing out that the ladies are saying that, I don't know if the point is, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it's worth it. And so it's giving, you know, I love the color blue. And niggas is like, well, I think you should like the color green better. I'm telling you what I like, and you're telling me that you're not going to get me nothing blue because you think I should like green. And so now we're arguing because I want something blue, you want to get me something green, and the argument is based on what you think and not what I'm telling you. Let's not waste any time. Let's not waste any time, you know. As that guy always says, 0% chance of doing that. The audacity. I love J-Rock. But yeah. But anywho, y'all have a good day. I'm about to go. I'm about to go 7:53. And that's it. I don't have too much for today. But I just, like, again, I came back up here today because I wasn't sure where my TikTok live can move from one place to another, or how can people go back and look. That's not something that I know right now. I gotta do some research and see. Find me a little young person, right? Look at me acting older. But I'm gonna figure it out. It's not that hard. It's just me being lazy. But yeah. So anywho, y'all have a good day. Don't let nobody piss you off. Today's Tuesday, right? And we got a short week this week. I hope y'all are off on Friday, the 4th. I hope that y'all understand that not celebrating the 4th also includes, like, don't be down to the stores. Like, I'm not telling y'all what to do. I'm saying you don't celebrate the 4th and then doing anything where it could be like tallied up that you participated. I don't know. It's not so much about being a hypocrite as much as it's like you're gonna need some more practice. Okay, you're gonna need some more practice. Sophia's school want to have a red, white, and blue parade. She talking about she need a little piece of outfit to wear. I said, oh, I don't know if I'm buying you an American flag shirt. Like, I don't know about that, because that's me participating in the 4th of July. And at no point was freedom happening. Okay? And even Juneteenth, all my people weren't free. We just talking about Galveston, Texas at the time, but still, it's giving Juneteenth again. It's giving, put your Juneteenth signs back up. That's what it's giving. Put your Juneteenth sign back up. And people say, it's not June 15th. I know. I live on the earth too. I know. But right now, a security guard from my job is outside. There's a bag in the parking lot. I guess it's a mysterious bag in the parking lot, sitting there. Now, to me, he's a little too close to it, but he seems to be on alert about the bag, and making phone calls. Excellent. Now, granted, I hope it's not Iran. And listen, based on where I work, it easily could be. God, please, no, not over here, not this building. I only need one reason, y'all. Have we met? Y'all know me? I only need one reason. I don't like how he's standing there scared, but I also don't like how close he is, because it makes it seem like he's just doing his safety thing, and that's what I believe. Just for safety reasons, he's probably going to have to have somebody come out here and get that bag. But at the same time, you never know. It literally could be the bomb. Yikes. I mean, like I said, I only need one reason. And the way everybody in the administration is breaking the law, like I said, I take my cues from the top. And so, if you don't need permission to go bomb Iran from Congress, then I don't need permission to go home, grab my daughter, and simply just work from there. Or just not be working. Because I'm not going to be down to the bombing. I'm not going to be at the bombing. I've had enough of that. Enough bombs burst in the air for me to last a couple of lifetimes. So I'm okay. I'm enough. Okay, enough. But I appreciate him using the protocols that's needed, and not just obviously walking over to the bag. But like I said, he's still a little too close, and so am I.